Exercise never gets old. Here's the thing that nobody wants to hear. Your body is literally getting worse at using oxygen right now, even if you feel fine. Even if you had a nice walk yesterday, your cardiovascular system is declining, your muscles are shrinking, your heart is getting stiffer. And this happens faster if you sit down a lot. But here's what's wild, and this is the part that makes zero intuitive sense. The fix doesn't require you to become a different person. In fact, the older you are when you start, the more dramatic the change becomes. So why do so many of us believe that after 50, we're basically done with the project of staying alive? Let's back up. For decades, we've treated aging like a one-way slide down a hill. You hit your 40s, maybe your 50s, and the culture tells you to start thinking about decline. Your kids are grown. Your knees hurt sometimes. You've earned the right to slow down. It's almost romantic in a weird way, the idea that we're supposed to gradually withdraw from physical life as a natural part of aging. Even doctors bought into this narrative. If you came in with heart disease risk factors, you'd get a pill, maybe 2 pills, and a vague suggestion about staying active. Nobody said it with much conviction. It was like being told to eat your vegetables. Technically true, entirely unhelpful, boring as hell. What we didn't talk about much was just how much of a difference sustained, regular exercise could make in midlife and older adults. That's where this research from Brazile and Sarma comes in, and it's going to make you reconsider what active actually means. The study comes from some serious people working at serious institutions. Tara Brazile works at Inova Shah Heart and Vascular, which is the kind of place where they see a lot of people whose hearts have already gone wrong. Satyam Sarma runs the Institute for Exercise and Environmental Medicine at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital and also teaches at UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas. This wasn't published in some niche journal either. It came out in Clinical Geriatric Medicine in May 2026, which means it's recent enough to reflect modern understanding, but recent enough that most people haven't heard about it. The kind of work that gets written for doctors and researchers first, general audiences almost never. So what were they actually looking at? The core concept is something called cardiorespiratory fitness, or CRF, which is basically how efficiently your body can take in oxygen and use it. When you're young, this is usually fine. Your heart pumps well. Your blood vessels are elastic. Your muscles suck up oxygen like they're starving. But as you age, all 3 of those systems get worse. Your heart becomes stiffer. Your blood vessels lose their flexibility. Your muscles literally shrink and lose their ability to process oxygen. Now, the study didn't follow people from age 20 to age 90. Instead, Brazile and Sarma reviewed existing research on how exercise affects CRF in people who are already middle-aged or older. Think of it like looking at a dozen different experiments about what happens when you take a rusty bicycle, oil it, pump the tires up, and actually ride it. Some studies lasted 6 months. Some lasted years. Some people were just starting exercise programs. Others had been at it for decades. By synthesizing all that data, they could see patterns that wouldn't show up in any single study. Here's what they found. First, the bad news that's not really bad news. Yes, cardiorespiratory fitness does decline with age. Your VO2 max, the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use, goes down. This happens because of changes in your heart, your muscles, and your blood vessels. It's not your fault. It's literally biology. Sedentary behavior makes this worse by a lot. If you sit around, your VO2 max drops faster. Your body composition gets worse. Your heart becomes stiffer. Your blood vessels become less stretchy. Your metabolism slows down. It's like a vicious cycle where the less you do, the less capable you become of doing things. But here's where it gets interesting. Regular exercise, and they're talking about sustained exercise across months and years, not just a few workouts, actually stops this decline. Not just slows it, stops it. In some cases, reverses it. People in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s who exercise regularly have cardiorespiratory fitness levels that match people decades younger who don't exercise. The improvements show up everywhere too. The heart becomes more compliant, meaning it can fill and empty more efficiently. Blood vessels become more elastic. Your metabolic profile improves. Your body is better at using insulin. Your cholesterol improves. The risk of dying from any cause goes down. That's the big one. And the effect sizes aren't trivial. We're talking about meaningful reductions in morbidity and mortality. People aren't just living longer, they're living better. Less frailty, more independence. Fewer falls, better mobility. Now, there's an important asterisk here. The improvements are smaller in very old people than in younger people. Which makes sense. You can't squeeze blood from a stone. But the word smaller is doing a lot of work here. Meaningful improvements are still achievable. Let's say you're 65 and sedentary. You start exercising regularly. You won't become as fit as a 65-year-old who's been exercising since they were 30. But you will become significantly fitter than you were. You'll reduce your risk of heart disease. You'll improve your independence. You'll likely add both years and quality to your life. That's not small. So practically speaking, what does this mean for you? First, it means it's never too late to start. Not metaphorically, literally. The research shows benefits starting even in people who didn't exercise until they were old. Second, it means exercise is not optional after 50. It's not a nice to have like taking a pottery class. It's foundational infrastructure for your body. You wouldn't skip maintaining your house and expect it to hold up. Your cardiovascular system is the same way. Third, it means the vague advice to stay active is doing you a disservice. You need regular exercise. The research suggests consistency matters more than intensity. You don't need to train for marathons. You need to do something real most days, week after week, year after year. This also reframes how we think about heart disease prevention. Most people think of prevention as being something that happens before you get sick. But this research shows exercise benefits work across the board. Primary prevention for people with no disease, secondary prevention for people who've already had problems, and even management of conditions like heart failure and frailty. It's a tool that works at every stage. Where does this fit in the bigger picture? Well, exercise medicine is becoming increasingly rigorous as a field. We're moving away from hand-wavy, it's good for you, toward real mechanistic understanding of what exercise does to your cardiovascular system at the cellular level. This study is part of that. But it also raises questions. What's the minimum effective dose of exercise? Is it different for different age groups? How much does genetics matter versus lifestyle? Why do some people respond better to exercise than others? Can we predict who will benefit most? Those are the open questions. That's where the next round of research is heading. Here's what sticks with me about this work. Your body at 70 is not a finished product that you're just trying to manage. It's still plastic, still capable of change, still responsive to what you do with it. The decline that feels inevitable is actually mostly optional. The time to start isn't tomorrow or next month or when you retire. It's now. And if you've already started, the time to keep going is now. Because turns out, scientists have been busy. And they're not done yet.